Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. I wonder if this is going to be part. There we go. All right. So what's going on, guys? Donnie Rouse here. I am back with one more, and this one is called The Price of Your Dream. So, hi, guys. My name is Donnie Rouse, and you are listening to the podcast One Life. The price of your dreams. Everything you want has a cost, and the important question is whether or not you are okay with what you have to give up, or aka what the cost is. Too often we go after desires and dreams without realizing that it might be at the cost of something else, such as our health, such as our relationships. But when you can take a step back and realize, all right, this is the path I'm going. Am I okay with the cost? Am I okay with the sacrifices I have to make in order to bring this thing to fruition, to invite this into my life? When you've actually thought about the possible consequences, then and only then should you actually start to make the decisions and move forward in that direction. The inspiration behind this podcast came from this past weekend. So as you know, I am currently living in Miami, Florida. And a couple nights ago, I went out. And on the way back home, I met like a couple girls. We were just having a good time. We were like talking, drinking. And I ended up going back to one of the rooms. Nothing happened. But we were just talking. And I ended up passing out. But in the morning, I was looking at just some of the habits. Now, this person I met, I'm not going to give any names. They may even watch this, which is totally okay because I have very, very high regard for them. They're very successful at what they do. But what I realized was that there was a cost to the success that they may not be taking into account in going after those dreams. Like this person, from what I gathered, they wanted more, they liked the material possessions, which is totally, totally fine. But in the success of the career, it led them to not really have much time to work out and take care of their health, always being on call. So there's no boundaries there. And then also, in order to get their body into state again, in order to be in that work, they were popping pills, popping Adderall, and then even the alcohol consumption was, just it wasn't a healthy lifestyle. Again, like you could say, oh, Donnie, you're projecting. Well, there's a cost, right? You could be successful at something, but if you're burning the candle like that, you're not going to be successful for long, because while the body is resilient, there's going to come a time where your body's like, you know what? I'm done. And it's not going to be able to recover. It could be sooner than later. And the point I am trying to make, and if this person watches this, the point I want you to come away with, are you willing and are you okay with the price you are willing to pay for that success? And it's not to say that it's a zero-sum game, right? There are changes you can make, but it's going to require a different set of habits. Maybe instead of going to pop, some chemicals, some pills or something in order to feel better, maybe it's like, you know what? This is not sustainable. I need to just get my butt outside and start moving my body. So this way I start to feel good. Maybe that, and then starting a new habit there. And also just thinking like, well, you're extremely good at what you do. But are you doing it the right way? Are you doing it in the way that's benefiting your life? I had to ask this question many times with regard to my coffee, because I wasn't willing to have anyone else do anything. Right? I had to do everything myself. And I realized how stupid that was, because what I was doing is I was burning myself out, and it was more mentally draining, and it made me not enjoy the process, which is the entire journey anyways, right? If you're doing on a journey and you're not enjoying it, then what's the point of doing it to get to a point at the end, some point in the future that you get the fulfillment? No, the fulfillment happens now. So in order to have that, you have to set up your life. You have to set yourself up to win. And setting yourself up to win is making sure that you feel fulfilled while you're going for whatever it is that you're going for. and not waiting until when to get this emotion, because those emotions that come after you've achieved and done the thing are they're fleeting, right? You get it and poof, it's out 1 week, maybe a week, maybe a couple days, and then you're like, oh shit, now I don't really know what to do. And then you have to set the next goal and you go after it, you grunt, you moan, you're stressing out, you get it for a day, you feel good, and then it's gone again. What's the point? What I want you to take away from this is that everything you do has a consequence, right? How you're going about your goals bears a cost. And this is just my point of view. Like I honestly, God, like this, I believe that you should enjoy the entire process. Granted, I don't do that all the time, but I do it enough so that the average or the aggregate, it outweighs the good days outweigh the bad. And how I do that here is just by making time for the things that matter to me, like going to Sunset. I went to Sunset last night, and I just finished, my family's visiting, so I just finished spending some time with my family, and I was like, oh God, it's 7 o'clock. By the time I get to Sunset, it's probably gonna be like 7:30. It's just gonna be dipping behind. I was like, but I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, even if I only see those 10 minutes, I know that when I go to watch sunset, that it's not just the sunset that is the most beautiful part. It's like the afterglow of the sun setting that is even more spectacular, right? So the sun sets, and now all of a sudden the clouds, everything turns like red and bright, and then all of a sudden it dims down and the city lights come on. So it's like, needless to say, I made the point to go because I realized just how much value it adds to my day. And even when my days are not that productive, just knowing that I did something like that for myself makes all the difference. And it sets me up for success in the following day. Give you one more example, like today. So my family is still here, and I was like, oh my God, I woke up a little later because I had fallen asleep on my couch and I didn't shower, and I can't go to sleep when I don't shower. So I went there, I was like, all right, let me just try to lay to bed, see if I can go to sleep. And I was tossing and turning. I was like, I need a shower. So I went to shower at like 12 o'clock in the morning, and then I passed out. And I woke up a little bit later than I normally would. And I woke up around like 9:30. And 9:30, I'm like, oh my God, now I gotta get ready. I gotta go meet my family. And I said, no. Let me just do some stuff for me first. I was like, well, should I work out? Oh, no, it's gonna take too long to work out. I should just work out later in the afternoon. Then I said, I had my celery juice, meditated, and I said, I'm gonna work out now. What is it gonna take, a half an hour? Let me go work out now. So I worked out, came back up here, had my cup of coffee, and just looked at the water, and I started to ask myself some good questions about life. I'm like, all right, looking out like 20 years ago, 20 years in the future, 30 years in the future, and I needed a visual, so I imagine where my father is now. Like, I'm 43, and my father is roughly 30 years older than me. So I thought about like imagining myself in my father's shoes. I'm like, well, what would I regret not doing? What would I be proud of? And I just started to ask myself questions about what kind of life I want to live. And I tell you this because it started just by giving myself that time. And I was so happy that I went to the gym because I realized that the mind is going to it's going to flip you. It's always going to try to throw you in places that you don't want to go. But by just putting myself first and doing that workout, it just evened out my entire day. Like, once I finished that, I was like, success. I've already had a success. Right? Then I'm sitting in here having my espresso and asking myself, just thinking about things that matter rather than just throwing myself in the day, being stressed out because I feel like I have to go there, show my family around. It's something that I want to do and should take pride in, right? Because they're here visiting me. I want to show them like all the parts of Miami that I love. And I could have done that, right? I could have just thrown myself in, but it would have been at my own cost of like how I felt in that day. But by doing things that made me enjoy the day first and gave me some fulfillment and some wins. Now, I'm here. I just did I'm doing 2 episodes here. I'm going to book my upcoming trip to like a itinerary for my Morocco trip that's coming up. And then I will go to the beach and meet my family and take them to like Key, Virginia or Key Biscayne or Virginia Key, not Key, Virginia, Virginia Key and Key Biscayne. And then I'll come back here and it's a success. But if I just thrown myself into that day without doing the things that would fill me up, then I would have missed the point altogether. You may not have the time to say, oh, that's easy for you, Donnie. Oh, like, you know, 9 to 30, that's a luxury. I wish I could wake up. No, that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make is that you need to make the conscious effort to just stop. Even if it's sipping an espresso, like 1 ounce of coffee, right? Takes 10 seconds, but you could put so much consciousness and presence into that those 20 milliliters. And it could literally set the pace for your entire day. Like I was going at, like just knowing that everything's a cost. What I'm really trying to say here is make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're doing things that are going to keep you fulfilled along the way and that are going to set you up for success. Because every single thing you do, there's a cost. And you want to make sure up front that you know what those costs are, what the long-term, the effects of it long-term are going to be. So this way you can make a proper decision. Like my friend that I just was mentioning to you. You carry the actions that I observed just in the short time that we met. You carry those out. It is not leading you for success. Body's going to be broken. You're going to be burnt out. And it's just not a good place. And I tell you this, I tell her this because I care about you. I don't want to see you go down that road. I want you to be conscious of your actions, as well as the consequences of those actions. So this way, if you want to do that, then more power to you. Do it, right? If you want to pop pills, you want to go out, party, snort coke, whatever the hell it is you want to do it. But just make sure you are aware of the consequences. Because when you're doing it blind, you may wake up and you're like, shit, how the hell did I get here? Or you may wake up and you'd be like, you know what? I like living life in the fast lane. I knew that were the consequences, and I am I am happy with it. But just make sure you're happy with the decision you're making and where they're taking you. That is it. I'm off my high horse now. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you, at the very least, just started to ask yourself a different question, like whether it is in your career and you're miserable in your career and you're like, this sucks. Why am I still here? Look at the cost of carrying that out another 5, 10, 20 years. And maybe that'll give you enough leverage to make and consider making a change and actually taking that action. Because life is too short, right? Life is too short to grunt your way through it. And to not and just enjoy the moments of your day, because your days equal your weeks equal your months equal your years, and your years equal your life. So take a moment, enjoy, and I hope you found some benefit from this. Again, this was more of a rant than it was a laid out episode, but I want to see you live a life that you're proud of. I want to see you live a life that is fulfilling to you. And just to be aware of where you're driving your ship, so that if it's not a place that you want to end up, you can change your course and make a new decision. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that it gives you a little bit more clarity, and at the very least, it gets you to ask a different question as to where you're steering the boat of your life. So if you like this podcast, please share this with 5 people. 5 people. And if you have any questions, you can send them to me via my website at www.donnyraus.com. Again, DonnyRaus.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, you only get one life. Live fully. Live passionately. And most of all, live now. God bless you guys, and I will see you again soon.